everybody. Welcome to another episode of the GPRO Podcast with your host, Jun. And I have a very, very special guest with me. It's Maxim Kotov. Hello.
Hi, Jun. Hello,
how,
everyone.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
It's been a good weekend. It's nice to have this conversation on Sunday because I had time to relax, to have some rest.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty good, thank you.
Good. What were you up to in the weekend then? What did you do?
Well, I'm mostly just had some walking around my district and also some shopping, which was needed, which I was planned some clothes and some food. Yesterday we, with my family, went to outskirts of my city to the summer house. I would say we called it dacha, if you know, like family house outside of the city where we can just stay during summertime.
Nice.
And we had some barbecue. We had some. We haven't swum. The water is still cold in the river, but we had some rest outside.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Summer house. Yeah. I think that there's a few people, especially in the UK, they have summer houses kind of outside of the UK because obviously, like in France or Spain, the weather's going to be much better than in the UK. So yeah, they usually have summer houses outside. But yeah, having one inside Russia is pretty good.
But it's not such a serious house. It's a small house, so you can stay there only during the summer when it's warm. Yeah. It's not suitable for living through the year during winter. So it's basically like a place where you can do some gardening, where parents of my wife usually stay there for a week and do some what they want. They just plant some plants, some potatoes, some carrots, and they have some trees. Yeah, it's like a small garden with a house on this land.
That sounds that actually sounds really nice. I do. Now I'm getting much older, like the gardening and all that kind of stuff is actually much more interesting to me now, as opposed to like a few years ago where it might not. It sounds very interesting to me, but you know what? Let's learn a little bit more about you, Maxim. Let's just introduce yourself, kind of what you do, and kind of just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 44. I'm 44. I have a family, 2 daughters, 18 and 11. I graduated from the university with economic specialization and also studied linguistics, English and American culture. My faculty was linguistic faculty was devoted to studying USA. It was very, very popular at that times when I studied, because there was much warmer, warmer relationships between Russia and USA. Unlike the current situation. So we had students traveling abroad, and so at the university I was meant to prepare for a student exchange to visit, but unfortunately I wasn't able to go into USA. Some of my friends went there, stayed there for a year, lived the family, American family, and also American students visited Russia. So, but I wasn't able, maybe it was unlucky, I would say. So then I worked for almost 20 years the telecommunications company. So I work as a marketing chief of the marketing office of the telecommunications company, cellular company, also landline, internet, home internet, premium TV, and also mobile phones and everything around it.
Nice.
So this is my profession, marketing at the telecommunication company.
That sounds definitely interesting. So your company deals with everything to do with communication. So phones, TV, like you said, internet, like literally every part of the communication services that people have.
Yes, even more than that. Recently, we started a transformation to a more complex company, more like an IT company. We also have banking. We also have some more services, which we call ecosystem, which we want people to be a company which offers different services for people.
Yeah.
So telecommunications is a core business, and we have some other business, cloud technologies for businesses, storage, cloud storage, cloud information systems, calculation systems, and so on and so on.
Wow, it's
So it's like a complex global company now.
Yeah, you're kind of branching out into different areas now, so not just focusing on communication itself, but branching towards different other aspects of businesses.
Yeah, right.
Like nice. Sounds very interesting indeed. So you said you've been there for 20 plus years now.
Almost 20. 18 or 19 years.
Well,
after university, I went to the army. I was in the army for 1 year. In Russia, those guys who finish university, they only go to the army for 1 year. If you graduate from high school, and don't go to university in Russia, you go to the army for 2 years. So for me, it was only 1 year. And after the army, I started working. Couple companies for short periods, for maybe half a year, were in insurance field, and maybe some other. I tried to find myself, and since I think 2002, I started to work for telecom.
Nice. Yeah. So the army is mandatory over there. So you have to do either a year or 2 year based on whether you graduating from university. So
yes, if you're healthy, if you don't have issues about your health,
yeah,
of course it's mandatory to go to army. And of course not everyone is eager to go,
of course,
to the army. Yeah, and so many young boys just try to maybe find some health issues and to not go there. But overall, I didn't have a problem. I just decided that I will go. I will do my duty.
Yeah.
And I was healthy enough to have a service in this army, to be there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun. It was a memorable time of my life, I would say. Not very pleasant, I think sometimes, but overall it was okay. Nice.
At least it's kind of a memorable, moment of your life. So that's nice to hear about the army. That's for sure. So let's talk about because obviously we're both here because of GPRO. So let's talk about the game for a little bit. So how did you find the game? When did you first join, and how did you find it?
I joined in 2006, and I got an invitation from my friend, and I should say that I started playing such kind of games long before GPRO. I started playing 10 years before GPRO existed.
Oh, okay.
In 1996, when I found F1 Live, made by my German friend, Harry Brückner. And I played. It existed for about 6 years till 2002. Then I tried to play some other web-based Formula One management games, such as F1 Pro and F1 Time, but not for a very long time. And in 2006, my friend from Lithuania, Tomas Salesius, his nickname is Toke. He played GPRO, but he quit, I think, about many years ago and never came back. But he invited me for beta test. I think it was season 4 of beta testing. So I played a couple beta test seasons, and then the game went, I think, it started, the first normal season in late 2006. And I joined in March 2006 when there were about 50 beta testers, I think, in the game.
Fine. So you got invited for the beta seasons. I was wondering because obviously you played F1 Time, which is obviously the game before GPRO, where most of the majority of the players came from. I didn't know whether you kind of followed the whole crowd or whether you were actually invited single-handedly by someone who.
I was invited single-handedly. I quit F1 Time, I think, not long before GPRO. So then I took some small break, and then my friend contacted me and sent me the link and said that there's a new game coming out, and then he asked that maybe I should try it. He was already playing it for about a week or two, and he said it's quite complex and interesting. And then I should definitely try it too. So I tried it and found it really amazing at that moment. Decided to stay and try to develop myself in this game.
Nice. So what kind of aspects in GPRO made you want to stay within the game? Because obviously you said you quit F1 Time, had a little break, and then you started GPRO. So what made you want to stay on the game?
It's hard to remember now because many years have passed already. But I think, first of all, it had a really nice and friendly interface. So it was really easy to find everything you need to play it. Also, I think already by that time, there was a good newbie manual or maybe frequently asked questions. So I got the grasp of the game really fast. It wasn't too complicated. It didn't seem too complicated to me because sometimes if you try to start to play something, it becomes too overwhelming and really hard to understand. You just quit it. But with GPRO, it wasn't the case. So I think it was like a balanced game. Not too simple, not too hard for me, and also I think the overlook of the game, the interface, the color, the fonts, I think it was really neat to look at.
Nice, yeah. Because the old because we still have the old race screen now where it's just a stationary page, and then every 2 minutes it kind of refreshes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But obviously back then that was kind of the main focus. That was kind of what kind of draw people into the game. What was different between GPRO and your previous games that you played? Like, was there any like major differences between the two games? Did you feel there was?
It was a little bit harder. It had much more, I think, much more formulas inside the game, much more dependencies. But I didn't play F1 Portal because some friends told me that the core engine of the GPRO was really very similar to F1 Portal.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't play F1 Portal, and so I can't tell you if it's the same or not. But it was really similar to F1 Live and F1 Time. It had 6 car parts for setup, and also the car had 11 parts for parts wear, and so overall the game wasn't really different from other games, but at the same time it was complicated enough. So for me it was interesting to crack it, to find all the formulas, find all the dependencies, and so on. So I decided to try to play it.
So how easy did you find breaking the formulas and cracking them and finding out how everything worked? Like, how easy did you find that aspect of the game as the seasons went by?
It was really hard, I think. Actually, I didn't crack any formulas right away, or just had some mathematical finders or calculators. So I didn't use it. I used Microsoft Excel, and also I just stored all the data and then tried to analyze it. I think at the early seasons, maybe when I played before quitting, before retiring after season 9, everything wasn't systemized. It was like small pieces of information stored in Microsoft Excel, and we only started to build our databases and so on. It wasn't like I think like we have now.
Yeah,
we didn't have any tools already. We didn't have any complete formulas. We only had some, approximations. So this is like we guess that this works like this works like that, and so on.
Right, yeah, because I remember I interviewed Rimantas, who obviously started in season 1 as well, and obviously played until now. I saw his.
Sorry, pardon me. Who do you mean?
I saw Rimantas. So
Rimantas.
Yes,
I see. Yeah.
So I interviewed him about a couple of years ago on the forums, and he sent me screenshots of his season 4 like data entry and everything, and it's just everything on Excel. He puts all the like parts, all the wear, like all the data and like that. So it was very nice because obviously I joined when it's season 14, so there was a little bit of data management going. So there might be a couple of formulas floating around here and there, but obviously when you start in season 1, it's obviously very difficult to even find a starting point. So it was fascinating to see how you guys managed to kind of collect data and then managed to fit managed to kind of make sense of it, if you know what I mean.
It's really like Rimantas explained. It was really like I had. It was like a pile of data in Excel, and in early seasons you could be successful if you just basically know some basic information, some basic dependencies. You didn't need to know everything like for several decimals. You could have round numbers, but you already if you would be able to know exactly your car wear, or just how much fuel you need and how much laps your tires could stand, it was actually quite enough to be able to compete at top levels at that time. So overall level of competition was really lower in early season. I can admit it, and it's not a secret. So everyone was really not understanding about drivers, about their stats, which stats are more important, which stats affect what. It was really a mystery for everyone. Everyone in early seasons, everyone thought that, for example, aggressiveness is a bad stat, and everyone tried to find a driver with zero aggressiveness, and then after maybe 4 or 5 seasons, we slowly started to understand that it was the opposite, and so we collected more data, and then we tried to pick the right drivers.
Nice. It's always about trial and error, and that's kind of what I loved about it in the early stages, where people it's okay to make mistakes back then, because obviously everyone's doing the same thing. There's not like a single right answer, and everyone's trying to find that one right answer, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I also can add that the game was simpler. In early seasons, we didn't have tire brands, tire manufacturers. We had the same tire for everyone. We wasn't capped for energy consumption, for driver energy. So there were many more simplifications. So you basically needed to maintain your sponsorship. You needed to pick the right driver, and you needed to calculate correctly your fuel consumption and tire wear, and your car wear. So that was basically everything you needed for success. And a little bit of financial management, of course. I was planning ahead at that time, and also to not get bankrupt, but only after, I think, season 3 or season 4. The funny thing, if you look at season 1, everyone tried to hire drivers for 5 million salary. Everyone didn't calculate a financial plan, and everyone I almost went bankrupt. And it was a miracle that I managed to stay in elite in season 1, because I was out of money by race 6 or race 7.
Yeah.
So,
that's it's season 1 is definitely the season where everyone finds their footing and just be like, oh, what do I do? And then people just hire drivers because they like the name, or they like the OA is high, and that's how people find it. So it is very fascinating.
It was total madness.
Understandable, that's for sure. But obviously, you've raced since the beta season, and then in season 7 and season 8 you won your first 2 championships. How was that for you? Was that planned? Like, did you were you like, did you plan better than all the other managers, and that's the reason why you won, or was there any other reasoning as to how you won those 2 championships?
I think I was fighting for the title for championship in season 4 and season 5 with Petr from Bulgaria. I was really close, but I wasn't able to beat him. He was faster, but I think I was in top 3, top 4 constantly. And by that time, I tried to think how I could improve myself. I didn't really plan for season 7 at that point. I didn't know that exactly on season 7 I will be fighting again. I was able to stay on top every season. And then I decided to experiment about my driver, and I hired a new driver in season 6, I think. And this driver was not really fast at first, but I thought that maybe it had some potential for the future. So I decided to stick with it. And suddenly, as long as this driver got some more experience and some more motivation, I found some speed, some more time. And by the end of season 6, I was able to fight for points again. So it happened that at season 7 I started with the driver and continued to develop it, and top managers had to switch to new drivers by that time. And suddenly my driver, actually I found out that it was really good. It was really good by that time. It was best driver. So and by that time I managed to maybe put together everything about money. I collected many sponsors, always had good sponsorship offers, really high sponsorship income. And I think by that time my facilities were already at 100. Facilities weren't deteriorating early in the game. If you upgrade them, they stay at 100 all the time. So all my facilities were maximum, all my staff skills were maximum, and also a huge sponsorship package. I was earning about 11 millions per race from my sponsors.
Jeez,
yeah. I had sponsors for 4 millions, for 3.5 millions, and so on, and 11 millions from 5 sponsors. So every race is 100 risk, every race is maximum repairs, and best drivers and best money for income from sponsorship. So I think by the meaning of all these factors, it was the best package in the game. That's why season 8 was domination, 14 victories, I think. And so on.
So season 8 was, and still is, the best season that anyone's had. 161 points out of 170. I mean, total domination, just absolutely.
Jun, don't forget that we had the same tires. That's a huge factor. It is almost impossible to repeat this currently, because you have a different weather, and if you don't have tires for every situation, and even on bridge rocks, you will have some races where you suffer and will be slower than Hankook's and Michelin and so on. So it's obviously almost impossible to repeat this in the current state of the game.
Yeah.
So we should understand it.
No, 100%, yeah. Because back then, like you said, there's no driver energy, there's no tire, like tire suppliers. Everything was so much simpler. And back then, like
of course.
Like I say, you could do 100 CT and it's in a race, and it wouldn't affect your driver at all. It would just be car.
If you are faster in one race, you are faster in every race.
Yeah, exactly.
It's regardless of the temperature. You would be the fastest. That's why those who stayed on top, they were constantly fighting for wins, for victories during races. You wouldn't have a chance if you are like mid-pack, and you won't just wait for suitable weather that would help you, because you couldn't do anything because you had the limited, slower driver, less money, and worse car, and so on. So I think that maybe basically because of all these dominating seasons, I think Vlad and game admins decided to adjust the game, to introduce tires and so on. And I agree that it was a really good decision by them. Because it now gives some competition, and you cannot be fastest every race under every circumstances.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the tire supply changes definitely benefited the game for sure. Because like you said, not one manager could dominate the whole race, like the whole season. Because obviously, when you, like you said, if they had the best driver and every tire is the same, obviously that driver will always be the top three, guaranteed. So it's kind of a bit boring for other people, which is a bit, a bit annoying for other people who wants to try to fight for the top. Whereas now, like you said, there's different circumstances for different tires, and like you said, maybe Hancock's will be the best for a certain temperature in the dry, and then you got bad years that are certain temperatures for the wet and all that kind of stuff. You just got a lot of different varieties of races that could happen.
Correct. That's why I would like to not overestimate or to make my achievement too high. I myself don't think that it was really that great of an achievement. Maybe at that time it was the game was much more simple. And the guys who compete, who are managed to stay at top of elite currently at these seasons are really doing much harder and much better job than I did when I won my titles back in the early era of the game.
Fair. I mean, very gracious. I mean, obviously, you still won 2 elite championships, even though they are in simpler times. You're still fighting with other managers in that similar circumstance. You just planned better than the other people. So
probably yes.
But obviously, like you said, you retired in season 10 and didn't come back until season 43. So what was the reasoning for the retirement? Was it based on real life, or was it just you got bored of the game, or how?
You can find it in the forum. In season 10 or in season 9, I lost my championship, even though I had dominated package as well, but I still lost the championship by a couple points, I think. And the reason was that the driver who won the championship had a smooth season without any randoms or technical problems. And in my season, I had, I think, 1 or 2 technical problems. I had 1 puncture, which made me to score, I think, no points, and 1 random technical problem, which made me to lose, I think, 6 or 5 points. And so by the end of this season, I realized that no matter how hard I try, no matter how good package my package is and how fast I am, I can win all races, but then just drop out one race and lose 10 points and to be second in this season. So I think I was really mad at this situation at that point and decided to just, I think maybe it was a rage quit at that point. I wrote in the forums that I'm really disappointed and that random played a huge factor. Of course, if you are 15th instead of 14th due to some technical issues, you can be okay. But if you do the best and finish second instead of first in the season, because you had some technical problems, randoms, and so on, it was really disappointing. So I decided that I've had enough of this and decided to quit, even though then later I realized that if I stayed and continued to play, maybe I had a really good chance to win some more titles later in season 10, 11 and 12, maybe, because my driver was still young and I would keep him I think for 3 or 4 seasons which was taken by another manager, I think, after I quit.
Yeah.
And this manager, I think, fought for a championship with my driver. So I decided to quit, even though I still had a chance to win more titles. But it was. And the second factor that in 2008, I think, after when I decided to retire, I got a new job. It was more. I think hard. It was really a new job for me. My new position. I got promoted to higher position.
Yeah.
I moved to another company to a really high and demanding position. I was commercial chief of a huge telecom, and I realized that I needed to spend all my time, to devote all my time to properly do my functions at this company.
Yeah.
And it was 2 factors that combined. I decided to retire, to free time to work in the new company on new position.
Yeah,
and in 2014, 6 years later, I decided to return when I was in a more comfortable situation. Or maybe a third factor of retirement was that I had a first baby. My daughter was already growing up and she needed to go to school. She was 6 years old. And I also decided to spend more time with her and so on. And then in 2014, I was more comfortable at work. I had more time. It wasn't a stressful situation for me. So I decided to devote myself again to start learning. And also all these years, I was constantly invited by my friends to return. Some of my friends, Vladimir Islentiev, who I was playing with, and also Leandro Sereno, they were inviting me to return. And also then Jimmy from the Whiskies also approached me just a couple months. When he saw that I'm back in the game, they started to invite me in their team. Yep. And I decided to join them.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Whiskey and Cigars.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
also,
no
Stefan Vogenreitner also invited me at that time. He said that why wouldn't I just return? The game has changed completely a lot. The game has changed a lot. There are new features, and I logged in from time to time. I saw that it has new features, new tires, and so on and so on. So I decided, well, maybe this game is became more interesting for me to try it again.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you obviously retired in season 10 when obviously is fairly simpler, and obviously came back in season 43 where tire supplies were introduced. A lot more things have happened. A lot more things have been introduced into the game. So how did you feel when you came back in 2014 and kind of like what were your thoughts on the game? Was it like a lot more complicated than you would initially thought about, or?
It was a really interesting time. I remember that I felt myself a complete noob. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I looked at my old Excel files and all my data and decided that it was really, not really mature data method of gathering data, and I realized that by that time formulas were almost all formulas were cracked, and people had tools and really more precise calculation than I had before. So for example, if I started playing only with my data which I had from season 9, I would just needed to invest a lot of time just to be on par with average players, just to know some basics and so on. Of course, I really had a lot of help from my friends. At first, I joined my old team, which I quit from, and there was some players were still playing in the same team, and they provided me with some information, and I asked them million questions about the game.
Yeah.
I was attacking them with questions every day. What do I do here? What do I do there? How sponsors react? How should I answer? I was trying to recall all information. Of course, I had a grasp of how it works in general, but those details I needed just to find the information back, to gain the information back, and those friends helped me a lot, of course. They answered all my million questions. I think thanks to them a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I was invited to Whiskies, of course they had much more data collected by that time. They during those years they had a lot of work over all formulas and scientific approaches, and some software for finding dependencies. They had some great mathematicians in the team who really helped it. And so basically by that time I got access to some tools which helped me to compete on higher level again. Of course. So it wasn't just the new formula cracking made by me. So when I returned, thankfully I had access to some gathered data and some tools and so on. So it helped me.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Especially nowadays, being part of a team and having that extra help from other people is definitely needed in order to kind of compete in the higher levels, for sure, and get that kind of information and getting your questions answered and stuff like that.
Also one moment, when I logged in to Whiskies forum, there were like 4,653 unread forum threads.
Oh my God! Wow.
They were distributed by different topics. So research about tires, research about car, research about weather, about sponsors, and I needed just I think a month maybe to just simply to click all the topics and check if this information is useful for me or not. To structure it, it was really fun moment. And every new team member who comes in our team has the same shocking surprise when he logs in. He sees this huge amount of data collected and posted on the forum. Of course it helps a lot also.
Must be very scary. You're walking in and being like, "Oh my God, 4,600 messages!" It's just crazy. Really? But it is to be expected from such a high team like Whiskey and Cigars, who's been there since day one. They've been there since the start, and obviously collected over 80 seasons of data, over 80 seasons worth of data. You're bound to have so many threads in a forum page to read through. But obviously now you're still racing at the moment. Do you ever think you're going to be back in elite and back winning titles again? Like, is that part of your plans for the game, or?
Yeah, my way of playing this game was also always like a motto. I push to the maximum. I don't give up, and I try to push at every moment. I'm kind of impatient player. I don't like to develop my driver for 10 years just to have a one or two chances to fight for the title. So my philosophy is to try to get the best possible package at the given time. If I can improve myself by switching drivers, I do it. When I first reached master after returning, I think season 47 or 48, I was I couldn't score points, and I was maybe 10, 12th, and I thought that I need just a couple tenths more to be able to go into points to retain the master. So I switched the driver by the race 12, and this driver was about the same speed as my previous one.
Okay.
And I had him for a couple races, and then again switched to another driver. I paid huge compensation. I paid 20 million of compensation to switch driver twice in one season, because I really wanted to retain, and I wanted to get a better driver. That explains how I play. So
short-term gains. That's it.
Of course. I have some planning, maybe for 2-3 seasons in advance. Of course, if I get a really good driver and I know that he's young enough to stay with me, of course I won't just waste all my money in one season just to score maximum. I try to go slowly to reach my best in second or third season, and so on. And I was able to have one victory after returning. I went to elite and had one victory. I could have maybe 2 or 3, but I really was unlucky. I lost one victory because of tires, because the temperature was really high and my tires didn't hold. And I had to extra pit on last lap and went from first to fourth.
Okay.
And another race, I think I had some technical problems, and it ruined my race. And of course, I know what I need to reach elite and to try to fight for championship. Maybe I'm too lazy now. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm not too patient now to do it. So last time I relegated to master, I tried to stay in master and see what happens. If I can stay in master as long as I can. And I stayed for maybe 8 or 9 seasons in the same group. And then I realized that it's a road to nowhere.
Okay.
So every season I was barely fighting for retention. And I didn't progress. I didn't collect sponsors. I didn't improve my finances and so on. And it drained completely all my money. And then I relegated to pro. And also now I'm thinking maybe I need to go even further down to amateur to start rebuilding my sponsorship. And I also think that maybe I did some mistakes regarding sponsors. I was experimenting with some answers to sponsors and so on, how to behave answering sponsors, maybe to maximize, and maybe it was not an optimal strategy, as I think. Now I'm trying different approach to be more safe with sponsors, to not lose them, and so on.
Okay.
So I think maybe if I see that I'm starting to improve, I'm starting to be more successful with money, I think that's the only problem. I don't have problem with strategies, race strategies, finding drivers and technical directors. I think my main drawback now is managing the finance. Yeah. If I have enough, if I have a long-term plan for staying in pro and advancing to master and to elite, and have enough money, I think I will make a try and to give a shot at it.
Nice. Yeah, but it's good. It's good to see you still have that drive to win at every opportunity, because there's a few people who like myself. I love doing like 4 or 5 season rebuilds. I love getting like a driver and then just building him up and then just trying to get him to the best. So not winning is kind of part of it, but it's great to see another manager try just going for it, just wanting to win, wanting to either retain or promote, and wanting to just do the best he can. And it's great to see. It's definitely good.
I need to think about it again now that I see that the competition is really high. I think maybe it's not the best approach. Maybe it's that's what makes me just to not reach elite and fight championship. I need really to think about it. Maybe just to slow down, just to plan again, and just to try to find. But what do you gain from development of the driver? Personally, I think that all you gain is maybe a little bit cheaper salary. That's all. You just hire a driver for a couple hundreds of salary, and you develop the driver. And when you fight for points and fight for championship, it's like 800 or a million salary. Yeah. So that's all. So, but all these seasons when you are driving with slower driver, you are really losing a lot. You're really losing a sponsorship negotiation process. You're really losing from finishing on lower positions. You're losing money and so on. So that's why I personally don't see a point of the development of a long development plan of the driver. Maybe 4 or 5 seasons is okay, but after that, it's always, I think, better to find a good driver from the market than to lose many seasons by developing.
That's a very fair statement, actually. Yeah, something I haven't thought about. I kind of felt having that personal touch of the driver is actually really good. But no, it's understandable what you say. Like you said, that the first 2 seasons of developing that driver, you're going to lose. Like I said, you'll lose money from your positioning in the races, and also it's like the sponsorship negotiations kind of slow down, or they even disappear or anything like that. So it's very good points that you point out there, and definitely one that I'm definitely going to think about in the future for sure. Hello, everybody. Just interrupting this podcast to let you know that the GPRO Podcast Hall of Fame voting is still up and running. So I left a link in the description below in the YouTube video, or if you go on the thread, you'll see the GPRO Hall of Fame voting link. So please vote. We still have a load of votes that still need to be counted. A load of spaces up for grabs still in the old thread. So please have a look at it. Vote if you can, and back to the podcast. You know what? Enough about GPR now. We talked about GPR for ages. Let's talk more about you and kind of yourself. So, what kind of hobbies do you have? In real life, like what do you love to do?
About when I was about 40 years, I stopped drinking completely. So that's a fun fact about me. Nice. I don't drink alcohol completely. Not a single kind of alcohol. Not during Christmas Eve or New Year. Not even on birthdays. That's really, that's a really like my philosophy about this. I also try to have a healthy nutrition. I try to not eat meat a lot. I eat more carbohydrates and so on. So carbohydrated food. That's also, I think it's more healthy for me. I feel myself better. And also regarding my hobbies, I like to run from time to time. I try to run about once or twice a week. I go to the stadium and run for 3 or 5 kilometers. It's really like a relaxed, not a professional running. Just to feel myself more fit, for my heart, for my blood system, and so on. And also cycling. About 2-3 years ago, I really cycled a lot. I bought a new bike and I went riding for 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers.
Okay.
So past 2 years, I'm not cycling a lot, but I like to go with my family just for a leisure riding, around the city and so on.
Sounds good. Definitely sounds good.
Yeah. Also one of my young hobbies back from when I was around 15 or 20 years is computer games.
Ooh,
Okay. Yeah. I like first-person shooter games mostly.
Nice.
Where I need to wander and kill monsters and so on to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my favorite childhood hobby, or when I was a student, I played a lot.
What kind of games do you like playing? Oh, so yeah, it's kind of break up a little bit at the moment, yeah.
At the moment, for last year, I play Valorant. It's a competitive shooter.
Yeah, I play.
Yeah, 5-on-5. Personally, I haven't played Counter-Strike a lot because I thought it was too hardcore for me. But when Valorant came out, it's a more like newbie friendly game. It's really similar to Counter-Strike, but it differs.
Yeah.
It offers you more opportunities, more tactical opportunities, because you don't only shoot people, enemies, but you also use some abilities to slow them down, to freeze them, to build up walls to block their paths, and to blind them, and so on and so on. So I tried it and I found it really, really nice, and not too hardcore for me.
Yeah.
And maybe, but mostly people like 40s, 45 years, I really don't play such games. So I'm more like an exclusion from the rules here. Because those friends who I play with are usually like 20 years old, 18, 16 years old. Yeah, I played with one guy from Sweden a lot. Then we became friends within the game.
Yeah.
And then I decided to ask him how old he was, and he said he was 11.
Oh wow! Damn.
Yeah, and the fun from this is that we had a nice chat with each other. We talked like, we are the same age, and I had a conversation and followed the conversation with him without even thinking that I was 4 times older than him.
Yeah,
that's what I like from online gaming and from games in average, that age doesn't really matter.
Of course.
Here, you won't go with 11 years old, and you won't go playing volleyball or basketball with him, or hockey or football, because there you have this age and physique disparity. But in online gaming, you don't have this disparity. Even other way around. I have a handicap because I'm old and my reaction time is slower. And those 10, 15 years, children are really, really amazing. And they are much better and have much better reaction.
Of course, yeah.
So that's just a fun fact, that doesn't matter how old are you. If you like something, you should do it. If you like playing computer games, just play it. If you are 50 years, if you are 60 years, if you like to do it, just do it.
Yes.
Don't think that you are too old for something, or you are not suitable to do something. That's what I think.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's something I always like to live for. Like, doesn't matter. Like you said, doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter, how different you are to other people. As long as you love doing it, just go for it. It's definitely something that I do love to.
Yeah, and another hobby, another game. It's not like a game, but it's a service which I discovered about 2 months ago. Its name is GeoGuessr. Maybe you heard it.
Oh yes, GeoGuessr, yes.
GeoGuessr, yeah. I discovered GeoGuessr about 2 months or maybe 1 month ago, and I got addicted to it. I'm a complete noob, but I'm really like learning. I'm like trying to compete with more experienced guys over Twitch. I really often watch people streaming on Twitch. Where they stream Valorant, where they stream GeoGuessr, where they can play with viewers. If you are on this channel, you can play with the streamer, GeoGuessr, and you can compete and try to guess locations with all people who can participate, who are also at this channel. It's really fun. It's really a nice community. It's like you don't need a faster reaction here, unlike playing competitive shooter games. And also it's really amazing service because you discover the whole world. You can discover different countries. You can pay attention to small details like the houses, the bikes, the roads, nature, trees, and so on. And you can suddenly realize that the world is so much different. Countries are so much different around the world. And every country is really different, has different features, has different nature, and even bollards along the roads are different in every country. And by professional GeoGuessr players, experienced professional players are, by seeing the bollard, can already tell which country it is.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy watching those people because they have so much knowledge around the world. And yeah, GeoGuessr is a game that I do love watching. I do love playing just because of the fact that you can view a part of the world that you've never seen before, and it's kind of good ideas for holidays as well. If you want to do a holiday somewhere, you have no idea where to go. I just go on GeoGuessr and just see which countries there are, and then if I like the look of that, I'll try to book.
Yeah,
to go there.
And it's fun to play with friends.
100%.
You can gather maybe 10 people whom maybe with the voice chat or without voice chat. You can go in the same game and try to compete and have fun and have evening talks, and it's like a nice I think a way to relax after your job. And to speak with your friends, to have fun with your friends.
GeoGuessr is one of those games where, like you said, it's not to do a reaction times or anything. It's just based on your knowledge and just trying to find clues in the whole area, and just making sure you try to figure out which country you're at. It's a wonderful game. I do love it. It is nice. So Valorant and GeoGuessr. Is there any other games that you play or like any played before or?
No, not really. I played before. I really was addicted to Borderlands franchise. It's a shooter game. Also, it was really nice. I think I spent several hundred hours in it. So it was really addicting. Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3. But I haven't played for maybe a year or more since I switched to Valorant. I found out for myself that competitive online shooters are really much more addicting than just single player games. At first, I thought that just playing single player is just fun, but the story, written story, which you play over and over again, it can't compare to the tension of online game when you're playing 5v5 against real people. And you know that these people are better than you, and you need to just to do everything just to outperform them. Somehow, I was surprised that I like it, because all these years I thought that competitive gaming is not for me, that I'm too old for it, that I'm not able to compete on the level, and so on. But then suddenly with Valorant, I found out that I can be of the good level with other players, and I can show that I saw my progress. I gained up, ranking. Valorant has some ranking system where you can advance You can if you are not a really good player, you have a lower rank, but then you upgrade your ranks and go up and up and up. And so I saw that by the span of 6 or 7 months, I improved myself, and that was really satisfying for me.
Nice. Yeah, I do love a ranking system in a game. Yeah, with Valorant, you get like you like start like is it iron or bronze, and then you go up to silver and gold, and then so there's loads there. So it's nice to see that progress, especially when you have a visual progress to see.
Yeah. I managed to reach platinum, and I think that's the highest level that I can reach, because further than platinum, there are. I was told that they're mainly pro players, so really hardcore players, so those who spend hundreds hours on this game, and they are young, and so I decided that I set myself a goal to reach platinum. I reached it, and now I'm happy, so I can be more relaxed and maybe playing gold. Around gold, and it's okay. It's just an average level, silver, gold, where people can be playing some relaxed, not too hardcore. And there's a drawback on these games, because there's some toxicity in games, and sometimes when you're not having your best day in this game, you can just not perform too well, and you can happen to have some toxic players in your team who will be flaming. And that's a drawback. Thankfully, Russian people can't use voice chat in this game, so we are muted, and we don't hear other players. But I see on Twitter where professional players, especially female players, are really oppressed by these toxic players who are just swearing at them and so on. And that's the black side, the other black side of this online gaming.
Yeah, it's definitely.
In single player, you won't get this, and in online gaming, you will have to face it at some point.
Yeah, it's disappointing to definitely like no matter what game you play. Like I used to play a lot of League of Legends and used to play a lot of Counter-Strike, and everywhere, like every game that I play, I always see toxicity, not only towards maybe players that maybe not as good as the other players, but also like you said, female players who also always get flamed no matter how good they are, just because they are female. And it's definitely sad to see, and kind of pretty sickening to see that. And it's
really horrible situation, really.
Definitely, yeah. Well, do you obviously you have your love for video games, but do you have like an interest in Formula One at all? Like, do you watch Formula One? Like as a
of course. Yeah. I got your question. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
I've been watching Formula One since it came to Russian television in 1992. So I've been watching for 27, 28 years. But the past 2 years, I almost stopped watching online Grand Prix. The main reason was domination of Mercedes. So every race, 80% chance that you would see two Mercedes, 1-2, and maybe one Red Bull or one Ferrari, and so on. Yeah. So the Mercedes domination really killed the entertainment and excitement for me. For 27, 28 years, it was really fun. I was trying to follow everything what happens in motorsport and Formula One, drivers, rumors, and so on. And past 2 years, maybe I just happened to watch 2 or 3 races during the year. That's all. Okay. Yeah, but now last race was really fun. Today's race, because and also Monaco race, where the slower race where Mercedes could not just utilize their power. When I see that there is a competition, when there are many teams that could compete for points, for victories, it's really much more fun for me. And today's race were really fun. It was like many unexpected problems, safety cars, and so on. And basically, Mercedes didn't win today.
Yeah,
So maybe
I don't think I have a single point this race as well. So it was it was good to see that. It was pretty much like Monza last year, where we had a really unexpected podium. We had.
I have nothing against Mercedes. I'm sorry to all Mercedes fans around the world. I really liked this team. It's all about competition and about whether the race is interesting, whether the result, the outcome of the race is expected or unexpected. When you can expect Mercedes to win, and there is no point for me to just watch the race because if I already know the result,
it's not fun at all. No.
Yeah.
No. 100%. I agree with
I'm
that.
sure I will continue watching. I will continue to follow what happens in F1 world, and I will of course I will not stop completely, and I will watch if I see that competition is back. I will start watching every race again.
Yeah, I mean this season it's definitely starting to look a little bit more balanced, but we'll have to see if there's any more any more races for them now. But yeah, I mean Formula One, like you said, it's definitely been dominated by a couple of teams, and it's just gets a little bit more boring when you see the top two teams always finishing in the top four positions, and it's kind of just. Yeah, it just takes the fun out of it, Like before, we had 5-6 different teams fighting for the top spot, whereas now it's just like I said, Mercedes or Red Bull, the only two teams that can really compete.
Right. It's the same in GPRO. I think if the same driver wins every time, we had this time with Roland Postel when he was top one and stayed at the top for many seasons. At some point, I think maybe it became a little bit boring to watch the race when you knew that Roland would dominate and win. He's a really amazing driver, player of GPRO. And it's just like a similarity between what happens now with Mercedes, what was happening with Ferrari in 2000, when Michael was winning it all.
Yeah.
And also in GPRO, sometimes we thankfully we don't get this too often in GPRO. And the last 10 seasons, I think we had really different winners, and winners we had new winner every season, not the same player won at least twice or 3 times in a row. So I think GPRO has transformed in the right direction.
Yeah.
To the point where we cannot tell for sure at the start of the season who will be the champion, just by looking at the tires and the driver and the money. You can't be 100% sure who will be winning. And also the competition, unofficial competition, max top 10, it shows that it's really hard to score a lot and to get the right guesses of not only the winner but top 10 players in the lead. Is really unpredictable at the moment.
Nowadays it definitely is that. You've definitely reminded me. Yes, Stefan Vogenreifer definitely wanted me to ask this question. Max's top 10. Okay, so now Max's top 10 is definitely integrated as part of GPRO along with the elite betting game. Obviously, you're the main man who created the game. So how did this come about for you? Like, what made you want to create a game like Max's top 10?
First of all, I didn't insist on inserting this into GPRO, but I think when we were discussed with Stefan how could we improve the game and how could we just make the game more diverse and just to have something outside of GPRO but connected to GPRO. I was thinking that I used to create some competitions like Max Top 10 when I was a child. I used to, when I was watching soccer World Cup, football World Cup, or hockey World Cup, I always try to draw, these competition bracket and to put teams there. Also, I played tennis for about 10 years when I was a child. When I was in school, I played tennis, and when the tennis tournament goes, you also have this Olympic system bracket. It's called where pairs. So also I suggested to Stefan to create this the game where we would guess for top 10 and we score points. I suggested him the formula, how to calculate, depending on how far your guess is from the actual place, you get different points. The closer you are, the more points you get. So he just checked it, and he thought that it has no flaws. It has clear rules and a simple points system. So he decided just to write a site and to integrate it into the game. It was really, I really appreciated it, but he decided to call it Max Top 10. I didn't name it. He just put a name, and I thought maybe it would be a temporary name that he would put Max Top 10, then he would change it to maybe some guesser, GPRO guesser or elite guesser and so on. But the name stayed. Everyone got used to it, and it became like copy machine. You call it Xerox, because Xerox invented it, but it's like a copy machine. It's not a Xerox. You can have a copy machine, HP copy machine, but we could call it Xerox. I will use Xerox because it's like the name that stayed along with something. So, and then some other games, Elite Bet guessing game was also implemented, and then I also suggested to implement GPRO Cup. It's not written anywhere, but I suggested to Stefan to make a GPRO Cup.
So the cup format that we currently have now.
Yeah. So I described how we could implement this Olympic system bracket system, where we needed 32 top players, and then three best of 3 matches and so on. So he liked it, and also implemented it.
Wow! So you definitely implemented a few very key core parts of the game, which is very good. Yeah, I didn't know about the cup one. I knew about the Max's Top 10. I didn't know that you implemented the knockout cup as well. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely interesting.
We tried to find the ways to have more fun. I think.
Do you have if you sorry, you carry on.
No. Also, what we thought at that point, how to make the game more fun is statistics. If you might know, of course, that there are a lot of different statistics in the game, and we also had brainstorming during early seasons of the game, or even in beta seasons, where we had a community of beta testers, and we gathered on the brainstorming, and we thought that Vlad Alexandrov asked, guys, what kind of statistics would you like to create, so it would be an easy to gather and fun to watch, to keep track of. So I think there was some brainstorming, and we decided that let's create some top by expenditures, or top player by sponsor income, and so on. And so this is one side of the game which I enjoyed, and I think it was really for some statistics freaks.
Yeah.
When you play the game, you not only play to reach result, but you also like to dig into statistics to see different aspects and comparisons of players, and it's really fun. It's really I think it's really nice idea to create a lot of statistics in this game. Yeah. So this goes just thanks to Vlad so for creating it. Yeah. And for other people who offered some ideas for that.
Yeah, the statistics page is definitely something that I loved. I hosted a game called All About GPRO, which is a GPRO based quiz based on the statistical part of GPRO, kind of like how many people,
nice.
who won the most championships, who did this, all that kind of stuff. Who, I had a question where it was who is the player who finished lowest in the elite season while winning the OBR. So there's loads of different kind of questions about that.
Yeah, nice.
So it's something that I love. I love like going through data and going through like past data and then seeing kind of unique stuff that's happened in certain seasons. Like in season 69, there's only ever been one person who chose Bridge Rocks in between Pro and Master, which is very, very, interesting for me to have a look at. But for yourself, obviously, because you created Max Top 10 and the cup system in the game, if you had free reign to create anything within the game, what would you want to implement? Like, what other feature would you want to implement within the game if you had that choice?
Interesting question. Never thought about this. Maybe I was trying to think more into grades of tires deterioration. I mean, maybe track not being wet instantly, or maybe track to be like certain degrees of rain. So there's not two states of the track, dry or wet. So it could be like dry and then like slightly wet, moderately wet, hard wet.
Yeah.
So there would be, I would also try to implement maybe intermediate tires. So there could be like more diversity in strategies. So like you could just stay on dry tires for several laps, thinking that if rain stops and track is not totally wet, it starts to dry out and you just win by not pitting. Or if you stay on track and the rain continues, then at some point surface of the road is totally wet and you need to pit for rain tires. So not like dry track, dry tires fastest, wet track, rain tires fastest. Yeah. Only two options, but could be like something in between.
But that's that's definitely an interesting spin. And to be honest, it doesn't really sound difficult to implement, like kind of just like backwise. So it could be something, for the future. Yeah, definitely intermediate tires and having that strategy where you could, be competitive using the dry tires in kind of moderately wet situations, as opposed to going, like you said, fully wet. Because no track goes from fully dry to fully wet in one lap. So, but no, it's definitely an idea for.
That's correct. You summarized it quite well. And also, another thing that I would think on, maybe I would adjust the sponsor system. I don't think it's like the optimal system. Maybe I would adjust some prize money which you gain by finishing at some place and so on. I like the way the money was awarded during the race in the first management game, F1 Live. So in GPRO, you receive money according to your finish position. Yeah. So, but what I would like to see that you get small portions of money depending on what place you are every lap.
Okay.
So you don't receive anything after the race for final place, but you receive money considering which place you are every lap. It's like corresponds to like sponsorship from TV viewership. If you are closer to front, you have more time of viewership, viewing time, and so sponsors like that and pay to the car who are closer to front, to the leading. So, for example, it would create some more interesting strategies. You could qualify with low amount of fuel and go for 3 pit stops and so on, and just start closer to the leader, to pole, higher, to have higher starting position, and try to stay the first half of the race. You stay closer to the front, and you receive more money. But by the end of the race, you just have an extra pit, and you eventually finish lower. But it would be interesting whether you could just go for the final position and for points and start, for example, go for one pit and start with heavy tank. And you will be like 25th during the first half of the race, and you will get lower money from sponsorship by this system, because every lap you are lower. But at the end you will score points because of the strategy, but get less money. Or you could just go for more aggressive push. You could start higher. You could start with lower tank just to try to grab more money and to stay on top for longer, just for money.
But that sounds interesting.
It would be a trade-off between money earning and the final position.
Yeah.
So you would need to find a balance. What would you need to go for points for the final position, or you go for money for higher placement every lap?
It'll definitely spice it up, especially for people in higher levels, to kind of, they have to try to plan their specific push races as opposed to hoping to finish higher in certain races. They now have to plan whether, race 7, 8, 9, I'm going to do the money strategy, and then hoping that race 10 will give me the points, and risking that kind of, sounds pretty interesting, and sounds definitely something that could spice things up again.
Of course, if you start on pole position with normal strategy and you are fast enough just to have a grand slam,
perfect.
It's just perfect situation. You get best money, and also you get more points.
And the sponsorship doesn't affect other people. It affects only yourself and kind of how much money you gain, as opposed to you losing to someone else.
So overall, it would be balanced, to have the same average amount of money income per race per average manager, but it would be distributed slightly differently, according to some trade-offs which players decide which make decision to whether to push or just to stay lower, but for the result.
Sounds definitely something for Vlad and Stefan to think about, that's for sure. But no,
it would be hard to program to do programming. This, I think Vlad is not keen to do really drastic adjustments to the game engine, but actually for this thing is quite easy to modify, because you already have statistics of the place of every driver every lap. And you all you need just to remove one system and to create another, where you after the race you calculate every distribute a small portion of money for per lap, not per finish position. I think it would not create but of course we would need to make a poll, and if vast majority of players agrees, then only then we should consider this.
100%.
It should not be implemented if it would be 50-50 for those who like the current system. We shouldn't just change it. Because it creates a different strategy system. So maybe some players have already planned for 5 seasons in advance, and then they suddenly see that their plans are not gonna work. It would be really, or maybe if Vlad decides to change it, he should announce it in advance, in 5 seasons time it would be changed, so we could change our plans accordingly.
I mean, he did that for the hidden tire suppliers as well. So he gave us a few seasons notice on that one, which is which is fair enough. That gives people idea as to what's coming, as opposed to give it to them straight away and then just surprising them that way. But but no, Maxim, it's been absolutely amazing talking to you, man. I just love how your mind thinks, and kind of just so interesting to listen to. But it's been absolutely amazing talking to you. Any final words for everybody listening?
Well, there's one topic which is last but not least.
Okay.
I would like just to have an opportunity to send the best regards to my team, and I should say that even though I have lost some motivation lately to play this game because it became like a routine, like a habit, having such an amazing company in Whiskies and having a group chat and having new members from time to time in the team, which are really motivating me to continue playing. So Whiskey and Cigars teams is the best, in my opinion, best guys, I think, socially. And speaking and chatting with my teammates is maybe even the biggest factor for me to stay in the game and to continue playing it. Without these teammates, I think I would retire already. I would have retired already.
Nice.
So the team is great, even though I should apologize for my team and also for the community, for GPRO community. So because I'm not really active in the past couple years, I slowed down. I decided just to not enter conversations on forums and so on. I just do my routine, just prepare for races, just do my financial planning and so on, and speak with my team. Also, that's I would like to apologize for this. Maybe when I'm back to elite and when I'm fighting for the championship, I will be active again in GPRO forum, of course. Like I did before, and I will be an active player. I hope this time will come sooner or later.
Yes, 100%.
So, yeah. And also would like to thank Vlad and Stefan and those who played a role in maintaining this game for the game development, for making the game balanced, and for creating some new aspects, for introducing some new aspects to the game. That was really nice, because I thought that at once that the game would stall and will be the same. But when I saw that the game was developing, I was really happy. So thanks to all the community, I picked from time to time to different unofficial forums and unofficial games. I see that there are a huge community which is having fun. And besides racing, they chat a lot. They do unofficial games and so on. I really respect all these people who spend a lot of time and a lot of efforts to maintaining the community, because without them the game would have died, I think. About maybe third or maybe half of players would just quit because they would not be really excited to play. But staying within the community, participating in unofficial games and quizzes and polls and so on, it's also like such people like as you making this game like more fun. And so I'm really respecting this, and I'm thankful. I hope this game just stays forever, so we could be like 80 years old, like season 357, and I'm just with my shaking hands, like, doing the calculation for the race.
That would be amazing if we actually get, like 10 years from now, we're still playing, enjoying ourselves in season like 200, just enjoying ourselves. But no, I mean, the community, misses you, Maxim, because they're the ones that voted in the GPRO Oscars for you to be part of the podcast. So
that's great.
So they're still
thank you, guys. Thank you.
There's still people who do love to hear, more from you. Obviously, real life and stuff kind of, makes you kind of spend less time on here. But yeah, if you manage to find more time coming on, by all means, everyone here is more than happy to welcome you back. And to have
okay, I'll try to sort out some private things, some happening in my life. Life goes on, and we have sometimes we have some troubles. Sometimes our relatives dies, and so on. It's just doesn't add, like motivation to do something. But at least the game hasn't changed completely. I sometimes I thought that what if Vlad decided to remove current engine and to replace the formulas completely with the new ones, so that we would lost all our data and we would need to start again to find all the formulas for tires, for cars, for setups. I think that would be not a good idea, because that would force all players, to do hard work again, to do all the maths. And again, some people would be really happy to have a chance to go again, to calculate. But some maybe older guys who are not having too much time, like myself, maybe we would just think, oh no, not again. Maybe I should not. I don't have time for this. I'm too old for this. I don't know how to do this. I don't want to know, to stress again, and so on. Yeah. Of course, we would stop playing maybe sooner or later, everyone. But I still hope that the game community just stays as long as possible.
Yeah, me too. I love the community here. The community is just absolutely amazing. We got a Discord channel now where we have over 800 members, and we just chat there. So we have a few people there that we always chat to every day. Like I said, the forums, we have the games people play, and also just a lot of different kind of forum threads that people chat in. The group forums and all that kind of stuff is really popular as well. Really popular. So yeah, the community is definitely what has kept me in the game, at least, that's for sure, and it's definitely what's keeping most people in there as well. But yeah.
Okay, I'll try to drop by and maybe to participate in something. I'm not promising, but maybe.
Well, it'd be good to see you on there again, for sure. No, that'd be good to hear. But no, Max, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you, man. It's been really good. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed listening to us chatting for like an hour or so. And my next guest is very popular as well. He's part of a very popular team. So be sure to check that out for next week. But until then, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from Max.
Thanks, Jun. GPRO community, you are the best.
Of course. Yes, 100%. You are the best. Yes, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.